And welcome to Hannity, and we are coming to you from Doha, Qatar. It is 9 o'clock on the East Coast, 4 a.m. here in Qatar, and tonight we'll bring you part two of my exclusive interview with President Trump aboard Air Force One. We covered a ton of ground. It went on for nearly 50 minutes. All of that, part two, coming up. You don't want to miss it. But first, another historic day for the United States of America. President Trump began the day with more high-level meetings in Saudi Arabia, including one with the president of Syria. Trump urging him to normalize relations with Israel, just like he did Saudi Arabia, and reject radicalism. In return, President Trump is lifting U.S. sanctions on Syria to, quote, give them a chance at greatness. Take a look for yourself.
Among others, and friends of mine, people that I have a lot of respect for in the Middle East, I will be ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance at greatness.
Now, before departing Saudi Arabia, President Trump also addressed the Gulf Cooperation Council, and I was at this meeting, where he hailed the progress being made in the region and painted an optimistic picture of lasting peace in one of the world's most volatile regions. Take a look at this.
As I said in my address last night, the Gulf nations are at the forefront of creating a stable, peaceful, and prosperous Middle East. And I have to say that I've seen such progress. It's really incredible. I've also seen great unity and friendships. I've spent a little time with you just before this, and I've seen tremendous unity, tremendous friendship, and the whole world is watching the Middle East, and many are watching with envy. You have something very special going on. Incredible opportunities are within reach for this region. If we can simply stop the aggression from a small group of pretty bad actors. I especially want to thank and congratulate the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain for their vision and courage in signing the historic Abraham Accords. I hope that in the near future we can continue that progress. We have a mandate from the American people, the likes of which people haven't seen for 129 years. They say it was the most consequential election in America in 129 years.
Now, the president even expressed a willingness to make a deal with Iran, but he issued a very strong warning, demanding an end to Iran's proxy wars and their unyielding sponsorship of terror around the entire world, the #1 state sponsor of terror. Take a look.
I want to make a deal with Iran. I want to do something if it's possible. But for that to happen, it must stop sponsoring terror, halt its bloody proxy wars, and permanently and verifiably cease its pursuit of nuclear weapons. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. I don't imagine there's anybody at this table or anybody in this room that would say they can. I'm strongly urging all nations to join us in fully and totally enforcing the sanctions that I just placed on Iran.
The president, he has been very clear over and over and over again that Iran will never have nuclear weapons or the enrichment of uranium. That must stop. He's been clear on that. Everything must be verifiable. He's also been clear. Nobody wants military strikes. Nobody. However, the world's #1 state sponsor of terrorism, coupled with their evil and extreme ideology, puts the entire region and world at risk. So President Trump is being very clear that will not happen on his watch. Now, make no mistake, there has been no bigger champion of peace in Europe, peace in the Middle East, than President Donald Trump. Bottom line, a peaceful Middle East is good for America. It is good for the region where we are. It is good for the entire world. This is not just good for our national security, but also our economy will benefit greatly. This brings to us some massive news from right here in Qatar earlier today. The red carpet, there you can see it, by the way, rolled out for President Trump's arrival following Saudi Arabia's show of solidarity with the U.S. Qatar sent its own fighter jets up to escort Air Force One to its landing. By the way, what you're seeing there, I was able to film some incredible sights. And on the ground, in an incredible display from Qatar, President Trump's motorcade was escorted in part, you see there, by Tesla Cybertrucks. Anyway, just as they did yesterday in Riyadh, American flags were lining the streets of Doha as President Trump made his way to a meeting with the leader of Qatar right here, where, by the way, he did continue to deliver more victories for America and the American people, adding on to yesterday's $600 billion commitment from the Saudis yesterday, with a commitment to go up to $1 trillion, including nearly $150 billion purchased in weaponry. This trip could yield well over $1 trillion in the coming months. That means high-paying career jobs for the American people, and we are now nearing the $10 trillion in monies committed towards American jobs and manufacturing of things like, that are important: semiconductor chips, pharmaceuticals that will manufacture in America, automobiles will manufacture in America. President Trump, he signed a series of economic and defense agreements with the Emir of Qatar, including an agreement from Qatar Airways to purchase Boeing jets, which, according to President Trump, would include 160 Boeing jets. That's worth up to $200 billion. All told, the White House says today's agreements will generate more than $1 trillion in economic exchange between the U.S. and Qatar, bringing the total from this trip so far to trillions of dollars in investments. Over the first 2 days of the trip, President Trump has delivered one victory after another after another. You wouldn't know it from the legacy media mob, while simultaneously outlining a vision for a brighter future for the Middle East, a safer world, a better America, and it is now more abundantly clear than ever. In order to counter Iran, the Middle East has to go all in on Donald Trump and the United States and buy into peace, reject radicalism, don't turn a blind eye to radicalism, embrace the relationship of this historic trip. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.